Hey guys, this is probably the easiest video. This is probably the easiest assignment that you'll ever do because it's only going to take a 2-minute video to explain what the answer is. And you know what the sad thing is a lot of students won't even click and open this and actually do it. So, yeah, I'm just being straight up with you, right? What do other instructors do that? Just tell you exactly what's happening. Okay, so this is the mother of all demos. Now, they did not call this the mother of all demos when it was on, hey, we're going to have the mother of all demos. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, a demo is something that term really became solidified with computers, right? Windows, I'm going to show you the new Windows 95 system. Here's our demo. I'm going to show you the new iOS. Here's our demo. And so it really became solidified later. They obviously called it something, Fall Joint Conference. Anyway, that doesn't. What matters is this guy, Doug Engelbart. This is him back then. You can go out and watch this video. It's 90 minutes long. It's encapsulated out there on YouTube. You can go find it. But there's a shorter version. And I would recommend that one because there is some fluff in here, some things that would have been cool back then, but to us it's just kind of boring now. And so there is one that kind of encapsulates this stuff right here. So basically what happens is he comes and shows a system that he calls the online system. It was designed by him, implemented by research at the Augmentation Research Center and the Stanford Research Institute. The NLS system was the first to employ, sorry, let me open that up, was the first to employ practical use of hypertext mouse raster scan video monitors, information organized by relevance, screen windowing, presentation programs, and other modern computing concepts. It was funded by ARPA, which was the predecessor for DARPA, which is the one that basically does all the advanced research stuff, and was largely ignored. If you had been in a class like what I'm teaching now back then and were able to attend this, right, you would have been, boom, mind blown, incredible. But the industry didn't really do anything with it. And again, it goes back to that concept of the people that are in authority and power. The system's already doing what it needs to do. Therefore, why do we need to change it? So truly a visionary. Hypertext links, right? Meaning that you got a bold or an underlined, a little message there, a little line of text, or maybe just one word, and you click on it and it takes you to a different page. Now, later on, right, Tim Berners-Lee puts this concept into practice. He develops it into something called HTML, uses protocol called HTTP, and basically invents the World Wide Web. And we honor him and more people know about him. To me, somebody like Doug Engelbart was a true visionary. He is somebody that's showing you this is where we're going with this. He's showing you what can happen. And his whole idea of showing this is so that somebody will go do it, right? Somebody out there will go do it. But of course, it takes years. Again, this 1968, and you're talking about 10 years later, 15 years later, it really starts to come around and do something with it. That to me is the difference between somebody like Doug Engelbart and somebody that's like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is very much like Tim Berners-Lee. There's this concept and idea and it's already been established, but nobody's doing it, for heaven's sakes. Let's do this. And the concept of hyperlinks, actually Steve Jobs put that into his Next OS as part of what that system did, which is where Tim Berners-Lee, what he was using at the time. So it kind of trickles around, but we always remember the ones that really made it happen, right? We remember the Steve Jobs, the Tim Berners-Lees, the Bill Gates, all those people. We tend to not remember the guy that first introduced it, but because he didn't go out and build a business and make it happen, we don't really hear about that. So the mouse, right? He invented that concept of being able to move some things around. And there's people in history, right? There's a first prototype of a computer mouse designed by Bill English from Doug Engelbart's sketches. And so on the video, you can watch what this stuff looks like. But there's people out there that take credit for this. Oh yeah, we developed this mouse. And even Steve Jobs tries to make it sound like they developed the mouse. And they didn't. right? They didn't. It was right here in this demo. Video conferencing, now that's a thing, right? I mean, that was in movies back then. It would have been something that's you watching an old 40s movie about people talking over a TV. But this was, here's an implement, right? Here's how we could do it, that kind of thing. Collaborative real-time editor, meaning that you can sit there and type something and somebody else can type something. You see it happen as it happens. You know, I don't know how many times people say, oh, I love Google Docs because I can see other people typing it in there. And it's like, well, that was cool back in 1968. I'm not sure it's something we should be raving about now, that kind of thing. Lots of these projects then end up in Xerox PARC in the early 1970s. So the truth is, as I've shown you here with dynamic linking files, revision control would have been like, how do you keep track of a program that's been changing and changing and changing and being able to see the revisions that happen, right? The revision control is used across documents, large websites, computer programs. All this version control is what they refer to it as, is all there now. So you can take any of these, you know, and be able to answer the question. I'm going to show you just a little bit more of them. Xerox PARC. So we're going to click over here, Xerox PARC. This was the Palo Alto Research Center, and they were the ones that really, they did a ton of stuff. They did a lot of work on Ethernet right here that we use constantly. And of course, they also created the graphical user interface. Now, when we say created, what we mean is that basically it was made and then actually sold. Right, so Doug Engelbert is showing rudimentary stuff of how you can use graphics on the screen. But the computer, even though it was a powerful mainframe computer, could not do this that you see on the screen. And it was Xerox PARC that actually created this. So that even made it smaller. So zoom in, yeah. They're the ones that made that. And you'll notice, hey, isn't that a Mac? Doesn't that look like a Mac? Well, it's actually not a Mac, right? What it is it's a system that the Mac was copied from. And when I mean copied, I mean that they actually licensed some of that material. So Steve Jobs goes over to the Palo Alto Research Center because they actually sold a computer, not Apple, sorry. The way I'm saying this is not very good. They built the Alto computer at Xerox. Xerox could see the writing on the wall, and they were like, holy cow, we are going to have just a digital society. And all this copy paper stuff that we do is just going to go right out the window. And they're right. They really had some vision. The problem is that they made their move 10 years earlier. So this is actually an Alto computer, right? It's as big as two small refrigerators. There's a mouse. There's a keyboard. The monitor's this way because the pages we use are this way. Makes sense. And they created the operating system that went on that. Oh, that's a nice spelling computer there. It's a good thing it knows what I'm doing. We put OS on there. We will start to see what some of the system looked like. And again, it's like, hey, that's like a Mac computer. Yeah, they basically licensed some of this because this Alto machine was sold for around $16,000 and was never a commercial success. And as an example of people that don't get it, the biggest problem here is that Xerox said, well, forget it then. If nobody wants to buy this, we'll stop making it. And you realize that this was made around 76. I believe it was 76 when it was released and sold. And it was just a year later when Apple made it their Apple II. And it was 1980 when this was adapted, right, and put into a system that was sold to many. And no, Apple was not the only one doing that, right? We'll get into that later, so I won't get into it now. Graphical system was there to stay, but you think about the lost opportunity, right? Xerox could have, think of the S-curve, could have kept selling this, and all of that stuff would have become cheaper and been much more rapidly adopted. The truth is that there may never have been an Apple computer. I think there would have been a Commodore, and IBM was already there, but there may never have been an Apple computer if Xerox had continued to just try to sell this and then over time lowered the price down, right? As the technology got cheaper. Anyway, so the mother of all demos introduced a couple of things, several things, not a couple of things, and I answered that. Just go to the link. You'll be able to answer the question really easy without having to take too much time.